Yeah.
Hello.
How are we? Look
Hey.
who's here. It's us. It's us. We're doing it. We're talking about the amazing race. And yeah, so Logan's not here today. That's why you got the
Because he
outro.
had
That's why you got the outro first.
classwork
And that,
or something.
yeah,
Like,
so whatever.
ugh,
But Logan's not
gross.
here. That's why you got the outro first before the intro because you know me, I like to be different. Whatever. But it is what it is. But hello, welcome to the Cup, the currently unnamed podcast, where we put the tea in reality, and where you can come here first to quench your reality thirst. Period. I am Lana, your resident diva, here to give the tea, spill the tea, and if you have the tea, send it to me because I love me some tea. And I switched drinks. I switched my drink. Now I'm drinking fruit punch because why not? Minute Maid. If you ever want to sponsor us, we're here. Minute Maid fruit punch.
Minute Maid, aha, like literally anyone.
Anybody who wants to sponsor the cup,
Lipton.
anybody with knee
Sleepy
high grape,
time.
it
I
doesn't
don't.
matter. Crush, we'll take it.
Ungava Gin.
Mhm.
I hope you're watching. Y'all gave me like free gin during the Labor Day weekend. So I hope you sponsor me or sponsor us. Sorry.
Sir Vodka. I'm not legally allowed to drink yet, but I might as well. We'll go with anything. My name is Jack. I use any pronoun, so as long as you're respectful, use whatever the hell you want. I am a Twitch streamer, game designer, college student, coffee addict, an overall mess. And today,
Oh,
I have been evacuated by COVID. Probably. No, I'm good. But, I might as well have been because I got hit by a truck over the last couple days. Mentally. I didn't actually get hit by a truck. Otherwise, I would not be in debt.
totally fair. And I am here finally to talk about the amazing race. It is I, Sam Danby, also known as Sam de Monteverde, also known as Anissa Long, your fellow friendly trans and non-binary Filipino Canadian mentally unstable hot mess, hailing all the way from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, Scarborough, if you want to be specific. And today, in my classic cup, I am drinking some Senna peppermint tea to help with some indigestion. Because I have been eating way too many fruit gummies because that is my kryptonite. Fruit gummies are literally my kryptonite.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if you give me like a bag of Welch's, I'm downing that in like 10 minutes.
I don't want to talk about how many times I've loaded the vending machine into my own pocket with the Welch's. And they're like for packs of 3. It's bad.
Right.
Well, all of that said, we are here to talk about the amazing race. And we will start this episode with some shocking news because Phil is standing there and everybody's like, wait a minute. If Phil's here, something's not right. And they were right. Something was not right. We get a message from Will and Abby who have been, I said evacuated, but
Yeah, evacuated is the right word there.
that's a good word. They were evacuated because they failed the COVID protocols. Somebody got COVID on the race, and so they had to be evacuated because of COVID, which is unfortunate. I feel very bad because, of course, let's just say these were people who are from Birmingham, where I happen to live right now. I was rooting for them because of home, because they were home people, but it was sad to see them go because they were doing well in the race and they didn't do anything to be too bad. So it was sad to see them go.
Yeah.
They generally seem like they want it. Sorry, they generally they didn't seem like they were in it to win it, but more so about like the journey of it and having like a lot of fun about it. Like they, especially like Abby, she brought like such a light. So I'm definitely gonna miss that from them.
Yeah. Just as a fun fact, I was going through the wiki as a way just to like mentally get the notes and everything that I need. So this is the first time that outside of like a non-elimination leg or something like that, there has not been an additional elimination at the end of a leg since season 22, where Dave had to drop out of the race because he injured his ankle on leg 2 and had to essentially quit for his own health during leg 5. That was also the leg that CBS had to apologize for promoting communism and showing a plane that went down during the Vietnam War. So that was a very fun episode for them. And this was probably a fun episode for them as well, seeing how, we just had a team go home. What do we do?
We say screw what we said at the beginning. That's not happening anymore.
It is now a non-elimination leg. Yay! God damn it.
I mean, when you speak things out into the universe and you say, this is the plan that we are going to do. We are not going to have a non-elimination round this season. This is the season of all eliminations.
There was no second chances.
No second chances here. The universe says, hold my beer, because we will make sure you have a non-elimination round, because that's what we like. That's what we want. And that's what's going to happen. It's unfortunate it happened at the hand of Will and Abby getting COVID, but the Amazing Race Gods was not having this non-elimination garbage. They were like, no, we will have a non-elimination round this season, period.
And I mean, they basically started the leg out by saying there is no non-elimination leg, but there is no elimination this leg, but the placements still matter, as you are going to be sent off in pairs, excluding the team in last, who will be sent out alone, and specifically 45 minutes after first, which, as we have seen now multiple times, since flight is not an issue, that is a gap that is going to be very, very hard to overcome.
Yep.
So, all of the teams find out that Will and Abby are gone. All of the teams find out it's a non-elimination leg. All the teams find out the penalty for winning and losing. And immediately are all released at the same time, running to the Amman Citadel, leading to a library. I am going to try my best here because I am horrible with pronunciation. But Kizanat al-Jahith bookstore, which is basically a circular library. Like, it's literally just a circle of books with an opening. And inside it is your next clue. It's a very good place to hide a clue box.
Yeah, I was gonna say that is a really good hiding place, regardless of like what you're hiding in there. Yeah, the Maktabat Khizanat al Jahith bookstore is just my guess on pronouncing it. Anyways, yeah. Obviously we get teams getting lost along the way. Obviously it is a relatively I don't know.
It's kind of an interesting scramble, because suddenly this has become fully equalized. And you can very quickly see teams are slightly grouping up. Teams are getting with each other to figure this out.
Yeah.
And The first people there, if I remember correctly, are Lewis and Michelle and Quentin and Maddie.
No, I don't.
Nope.
No, it was Marcus and Michael and Emily and Molly.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. Now I'm remembering it. Both of them get there. They ended up working together and run right to the situation, which they also mentioned on the show that obviously a lot of them can't read the Arabic alphabet. So actually locating the bookstore via name, which was possible in other countries, is something not possible anymore, which is a very, very interesting barrier.
Yeah, I feel like your only way around that is probably like taking someone's phone.
Yeah.
And Google mapping it.
They one team Google mapped it. One team, one pair of teams straight up printed it out at a local place.
Yeah.
So I mean, all the teams got there in a reasonable time. Almost all of the teams.
Almost.
Glenda and Lumumba took just a little bit longer than everyone else. And that would quickly become a running theme. So if anyone else doesn't have anything to say, we can move on to the detour, step by step or letter by letter. If either of you want to explain what the detours are, go right ahead.
So, step by step, teams are required to learn a traditional dance that is done before a wedding. I forget if there was an actual name for it.
They did not give a name for it. I do not have that in my notes.
Okay. Yeah, because I know in like Filipino traditions, there's sometimes, depending on the culture, because there's many cultures in the Philippines, obviously, like any other country would have like multiple cultures. Excuse me. Anyways, yeah. So basically, they have to do a traditional dance that is done before a wedding, and it's kind of a way of like man flirting with woman and kind of just flattering the woman. At least that's what it comes off to me. So
while the woman is also just holding a sword.
Yeah, it's kind of fierce actually. And so they are required to replicate an entire routine. Luckily, they have a help of one assistant that is there. And I'm surprised on, especially like when they actually go through with the choreo and all that. The person that's like assessing, for lack of a better word, is actually like critiquing as well. I don't know if there's anything you want to add concerning that detour.
I mean, once again, the dancers took it on because they thought it would be easy, and for a lot of them it was. And the other teams definitely struggled a bit. I mean, Lewis and Michelle got it really fast. And then who else? It was Aubrey and David, Glenda and Lumumba, Lewis and Michelle, and Quentin and Maddie. Yeah, so Aubrey and David and Quentin and Maddie are both dance based, and Aubrey and David, and Lewis and Michelle just got it pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
Glenda and Lumumba did not.
I believe they were the first ones there too, correct?
They were one of, I want to say no. I think Lewis and Michelle were there first, followed by Aubrey and David. Because okay. Lewis and Michelle struggled a bit, but had enough time to practice and all that, that when Aubrey and David came in, they were pretty much ready to go. Mm-hmm. And Quentin and Maddie came in, and Glenda and Lumumba came in pretty shortly after each other. They were pretty much on their tails.
Yeah.
So the other choice is letter by letter. Letter by letter was extremely simple. Teams had to learn and recite the 28 letters of the Arabic alphabet to receive their next clue. Once again, this is a word-based memorization task. Memorization and speech, which I mean, I know it's very common, but we have had a lot of dance or speak challenges this season.
Mm-hmm.
So it is, I think, once again, it just unfortunately falls on COVID where they can't do as many other like big extreme challenges. They're really just trying to like keep it small because they're just getting back. And Derek and Claire, Emily and Molly, and Marcus and Michelle take this task. Now, Marcus and Michael, Jesus, I can't speak.
I just let you have that because I'm like, Michelle's not that far off. Like, literally in French, it's Michelle. Like,
yeah. Marcus and Michael, Marcus is struggling. He's struggling a lot. And then they reread the task and realize we only have to get it all 28 as a team. We don't specifically have to get each one individually on both team members, which neither of the other two teams realized. And that specifically hurt Derek and Claire.
Mm-hmm.
But realistically, all three teams got it done pretty quickly. The teachers, I will also say, were really good.
Absolutely.
Lana, really quick.
I enjoyed that part. I enjoyed seeing. Okay. Instructors are very important when it comes to things like this, these challenges and things. You have to have good instructors. And I've seen in some seasons where I felt like the instructors were either going too fast, they weren't really giving them what they needed to give them, or it was like they expected them to know how to do some of this stuff. And it was like, duh. But I feel like the instructors this time was very patient. And not that these other instructors weren't patient, because they have to be patient, because these are people who don't know their language or don't know, the traditions and all that stuff. But in some seasons, I have seen a couple of instructions. I'm like, they ain't really giving them what they need to give, to complete this task. Eventually they end up doing it. But like these instructors, like even from like the dance instructors and the teaching the alphabet, they're very patient. They're very like, okay, this is what you have to do. It's, rolling your R's here and do this step here, be fluid here. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed watching them. And I think that, honestly, I will say this about Jordan. I enjoyed the stint in Jordan. I really, really did. I enjoyed all the time that they spent there. I just enjoyed it. And I don't know why. I mean, it's just such a beautiful place. And it's Kennedy, I'm doing a podcast here. Daddy's upstairs. Go upstairs.
Oh, Kennedy.
Yes, Kennedy. Yeah, in the closet. Okay. But yeah, I enjoyed the instructors. Let me move on before Kennedy takes over this whole podcast about whatever's in her closet right now. I don't know. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this episode, we talked about last episode how the challenges were very Americanized. Mm-hmm. Like it started with it being on a movie set, and then you either fed camels or assembled one of the biggest landmarks. Here, it felt much more aligned with Jordanian culture. And that is what I loved. It was genuinely learning.
I think a lot of it also helps because obviously this is the first time they ever go to Jordan.
Yes.
And I know, and I'm sure that, and any of the Jordanians that were involved in kind of the production of this leg alone, kind of just wanted to make that good impression, and I'm sure any country would be a similar way. On you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, you're right.
But yeah, for sure. No, I also very much enjoyed the experiences that were witnessed, if you will.
Yeah. Whoever got all of the stuff together for this leg, they got the right people because they were so excited to lead everyone on these tasks, and that's exactly what I love to see. They were so happy, and they made the leg so wonderful. So an amazing job to the production team and everyone that was just on board for this episode, because they knocked it out the park.
Even all the passerbys that literally the teams were just running through, like you see like the like a row of them just like applauding them on while they're running through this entire crowd to the library. Like that's everything to me.
So, all the teams get out pretty fast and make their way to the roadblock. Who's feeling broken carded? On this specific roadblock, one team member must assemble a cart called an arabaya, which was translated differently in the subtitles that I found, so I'm not sure if that is the correct translation on the wiki, but I will figure that out later. And then push it to the nymphium. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not even going to try. And I mean, they got it right after they finished the detour. They were told, you are going to this location, building something, and then dragging it to the pit stop.
Yeah.
Which, not a bad way to do it. So David, Claire, Molly, Glenda, Lewis, Michael, and Quentin did this detour. Important things to note here. Claire did another building a vehicle detour. Okay.
I guess she wanted to. I think she said she
wanted to redeem herself. Molly jumped in. Emily, she said Emily should have done it, but Emily was dealing with her injured leg, so she wanted to do it instead. Makes absolute sense. Everyone else, there wasn't really a big thing. We'll talk about the one other thing with one of the teams later on because it was genuinely just so sweet. But the first out of the gate here are, I think, was it Lewis and Michelle who were out of the gate first, or was it Aubrey and David?
Yes, it was Lewis and Michelle.
And immediately after leaving, their cart falls apart.
And this is after like inspection too.
I don't know what happened with
I'm like, I don't get it. I'm like, how do you pass an inspection and then the cart falls apart as soon as you leave? Like,
he just said it looks good to me. No.
Not that it is good. It's not workable. It looks good.
It looks good to me. I'm going to say that you have all the parts right. I'm not going to tell you this is built well because it's not. Go ahead. I want to see this roll away.
It actually was kind of hilarious. Not gonna lie.
It was. So David and Aubrey's cart falls up. Lewis and Michelle's cart falls apart. So Lewis has to reassemble it, and during that time, basically all of the other teams come in,
and they see it.
But there's one exception. Glenda and the Mamba are still at the detour. And they basically get to the roadblock about 15 to 20 minutes after everyone else, which basically made sure they would be in a tough spot. And at this point, all the teams, once they assemble the cart, must drag it to the Nymphium in order to check in. With that said, we have our placements for the leg. Unless anyone wants to talk about anything else, I am going to mention the one extra bit when it comes up.
No, I don't.
Let's jump into the placements because honestly, it wasn't a whole lot for this episode because of everything. So
Yeah. So Lewis and Michelle walk up to the mat, and congratulations, that is the first double win and back-to-back win of the entire season. So they are now, after basically being in, I want to double check my facts here that I'm putting up. Basically, after doing pretty all right and not having a good first leg at all, they've rebounded pretty heavily and are now in the lead in terms of leg wins and not overall average, but I mean they got 10th in the first leg. You can't. That's going to be hard to overcome. Oh, yeah.
I mean, Lewis and Michelle said in the last leg that they were manifesting themselves to be in the front. They were no middle team. They are not the middle team, and they don't want to be in the middle team. And so they are going to manifest themselves to be first. And they did it twice. So the power of manifestation is real with these two. And if you don't believe that, check the stats, boo. They are first and first. So you might want to think about manifesting where you want to be in your life, where you want to be, because it works apparently.
Come through, croquetas.
Yeah. They smashed this leg.
Yeah, they killed it.
So you can't. They danced. They built the cart. They had it fall apart and then had to rebuild it and still got first. That's badass.
That is
impressive.
Afterwards, it was Aubrey and David lugging their cart up the hill, and they put it right on the mat, and Phil checks them in as second, making them and Lewis and Michelle the first team to officially be done with the leg. The first group to be leaving the next leg.
Yep.
Then we have Quentin and Maddie, which makes this the three teams who did the dancing detour and were also dancers in the top, which is very, very interesting. And also makes me question how far the detour was from each group. How far the detour was from the roadblock for each group.
To be fair, this entire leg was done on foot. So yeah. I wouldn't realistically wouldn't say it's like within say a 5 kilometer radius.
Yeah, it probably wasn't horribly far, especially because they were entirely contained in the city of Amman.
Exactly.
So right with Quentin and Maddie, Derek and Claire check in, and they are Quentin, Maddie, and Derek and Claire form the second departure of the next leg. And right after, Marcus and Michelle and Emily and Molly check in together, leaving only one team left. Now, this is what I wanted to talk about. After seeing some dysfunction with the other teams and all that, Glenda and Lamumba talking and just being like, you are okay. You are doing your best. You are amazing. Don't get into your head. Take a moment, breathe, all that. I will admit a few tears fell because that was genuinely just so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell that they are such a loving couple.
I Love Glenda Lumumba. Like from the start, very much early in this game, I was like very much a Glenda Lumumba fan, a stan, whatever you want to call it. They seem, like you said, Jack, they seem like such a genuine, loving couple. And like they've only been married for a short period of time. But even they admitted this race has done nothing but strengthen their relationship and strengthen their bond and helped it, like made their marriage even better. Which I'm like,
Just just incredible.
Yeah.
You're muted.
Yeah, I think you muted yourself while you were.
I did, which is weird. Okay. This is why I don't run banners. But anyway, just beautiful. Just beautiful, amazing couple. I like that's couple goals. Like I always get very like antsy or like worried when married couples come because you don't want, or couples period, because we've seen couples on the show and the man just the way
Something
they
always goes wrong.
something goes
Something
wrong,
always
or the woman
goes
like
wrong.
either the woman is whiny and horrible and you just can't root for her, she's just so unrootable, like you so unlikable, or the man is just so horrible to her, he's talking down to her and he's mansplaining things, which is like super annoying. And it's just like it just always goes wrong and it's so horrible to watch somebody just talk down to somebody who they're supposed to love. Like that's supposed to be your person. That's your soulmate. That's the person you vowed your life to, it, or whatever. So it's always refreshing and lovely to see when a couple, when they are encouraging and they're supportive and they're helpful. And it's like, even when they're at their worst, that's when they need the support the most. And sometimes we don't see that. So to see Lumumba and Glenda just giving each other that support and each other that love. And we've seen it on other couples. Like last year, Penn and Kim, I thought was just amazing at how he talked to her when she was stressing out and how she talked to him when he was freaking out. And other couples have done it. I love that so much with my whole heart. It just makes me feel so good to see couples who actually support each other when their hardest times are hitting, because this race is so stressful and not everything is going to go right. So when things go wrong, that's when you need each other to be the rock. And it's so lovely to see that. And that's in any relationship, any partnership. Like it could be you and your best friend, you and the college, you college, somebody you grew up, somebody you work with. And if you're going to do the amazing race, you have to have a sense of support and understanding and patience and just kindness and just all of that to be, because I can't have you yelling at me the whole time. I don't respond well to people yelling at me anyway. So if you yell at me, I'm shutting down and we ain't doing this race. Mm-hmm. But if you want me to go on, yes, you can be tough, like push it. You gotta go. But it needs to be encouraging as you're pushing me. Like, you got this. You're good. I know it's tough, but we gotta go. Push it. Do it. And then I'm like, okay, let me do it. But if you're like, what are you doing? That's so stupid. Blah, blah, blah.
It's not gonna work. Yeah.
That's not working. So Glenda Lumumba, I love them. That's couple goals. I said it's way too much just to come back to Glenda and Lumumba are couple goals. But yeah. But it's sad that they came in the last place. But I'm not counting them out.
Yeah. No. I mean, here's the thing. At this point, if you, once again, I look back at the placements and I see, unfortunately, just based on trajectory and all that, it looks like unless Glenda and Lumumba get like a really, really good hand in the next episode, just based on their trajectory throughout the season, it's going to be very, very hard for them not to be the next to go. And
crazier things have happened.
But besides Aubrey and David and Quentin and Maddie, moving up
Mhm.
because there was a dance challenge. Basically, nothing changed. Literally, this time it is very, very literal.
Mm-hmm.
Derek and Claire went down 2 spots. Marcus and Michelle went down 2 spots. The reason that Emily and Molly can't go down 2 spots is because 4th place was eliminated. So
Yep.
they're automatically lower. Emily and Molly went down 1 slot. Glenda and Lamumba stayed equal because they can't go lower, otherwise they'd be eliminated. The only movement here were the 2 dance teams going ahead and going forward because there was a dance challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously they're gonna have an advantage if there's a dance challenge, but that does spell a little bit of danger for Aubrey and David for the next leg. If they make a mistake and there isn't some sort of dance challenge, I expect them to be near the bottom. Everyone else, I have no idea, and I think they might stay equal. Quentin and Maddie will probably stay about as equal as they can.
I don't know. It
But,
was. Go
yeah,
ahead.
no. And those are my final words for this episode. You two, go ahead.
I mean, look, I feel like crazier things happen in Amazing Race. And like you said, this was a dance challenge. Next week probably won't be a dance challenge. I'm pretty sure it probably won't. And we've seen these teams who do well in dance struggle somewhere else. And so I just feel like the way that this is the reason why I love the Amazing Race, because the shift can happen at any moment in time. All it takes is somebody get lost. All it takes is for somebody to
Excel.
Somebody have a really, really good leg. Like every challenge was built for them, and they just mollywop everybody in it.
Yeah.
And even last place with the way Lumumba and Glenda are set up, it looks very bad because the loser leaves way behind everybody else, and they have a lot of ground to make up. But if somebody gets lost and is driving around for 2 hours, that's that time, and they are on the track, and they they get their directions perfectly. That's them right back into the race. Or somebody is stumbling and fumbling and having a hard time in a roadblock, and they still there, and Glenda Lumumba show up 45 minutes later. They back in this game. I count nobody out in the Amazing Race. Sure, the trajectory is showing, and even though we've seen how it has happened, because we've seen people who were at the bottom usually go home that next week. But I just don't know, because sometimes people's karma and people's call it what you want, they karma, they ancestors, they spiritual gurus, somebody is looking out for them, and they push them ahead, and they make it to, and then get to that dramatic end where they think they're last, and they get to the mat and feels like, you are team number 6, you are not out. They're like, oh my god, I thought I was off.
I feel like in the US franchise in particular, I think of like Caroline and Jennifer the second time they played, where they got like last on both like non-elimination legs and still made it to the finale, got second.
Crazy.
It was really interesting, but at this point, we are over the halfway point of the race. This was episode 6 of 11, and there are realistically 4 more eliminations before the finale. And with the math, it does not seem like there's a way for that to change.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Who
think so.
knows? I don't. I think so too. I think it's going. Like I said, it's going to be a hard road for them, but I count nobody out until Phil says you're eliminated. So,
Yeah.
but other than that, I like I said, this episode wasn't a lot. It was, I feel like next episode is going to be more because of now we know somebody is definitely going home. But I have nothing else to say about it. I mean, it is what it is. The standings are the standings. We'll see what happens to these standings next week. But other than that, this was a pretty, I guess I would like to call it a filler episode. It wasn't a lot of, it wasn't a lot of meat and potatoes, but it was a filler episode. And the real drama happens next week in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, judging by the preview, there does seem to be, for one thing, one of the challenge that we saw there kind of gave Survivor tease,
Mm.
and then also we end up seeing, I think, some kind of car crash or car accident or something with,
Yeah, there's something weird that happens at the very end where it's like, what was that?
and I think it was Glinda and Lumumba too.
Oh, that's not a good
Oh,
sign.
that's not a good sign
And
at all.
that really scares me.
That's not good at all. But whatever. We'll see what happens on
We'll
next
see what
week.
happens.
Y'all know what? This is why Logan runs this show. We have sat here this entire time, and I did not put anybody's social things up, and I didn't even put Sam's on here. Oop, and mine is not on there either, so I'm going to take that off. But you all know what to do. Follow us at the cup underscore reality on Twitter to find out when we are dropping new episodes of everything that we're doing. Sorry for the flashlight; it looks very creepy right now. Um, follow, subscribe to our channel, share the videos. We love talking about reality TV. We love talking about everything reality. So you know what to do. If you like reality, follow us, talk to us. If you ever want to talk about something on about reality TV, DM us. We would love to have you on the show to talk about your favorite shows, your favorite episodes, and bring it on. And of course, we're cool people. Follow us on our social medias. I'm Lady J78. That's at Jack the Flop TTV. And here's Kennedy. And then that is at Demonte.
Hey.
AAAYYY
Period.
on Twitter. And
Logan is somewhere
Logan,
in the
yeah,
background.
Logan is gym leader Logan.
With two
And
N's.
yeah. And yeah, that's it. So I'm going to
Bed.
we gonna go because Kid, do you have something to say? Yes. Yes.
Look.
I see. Beautiful. Okay.
I love it.
But yes, we're gonna go because it's time to go. Say goodbye, Kennedy. Say bye.
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 Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers. This has been
Goodbye.
empty for 2 episodes now.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.